Listen to me closely because today, we are diving into a world where ancient builders actually outshone our modern machines. It is mind-blowing to think that people thousands of years ago moved stones weighing hundreds of tons with such precision that you can't even slip a piece of paper between them. Even with our massive cranes, engineers today look at these sites and just shake their heads in disbelief. So get ready to watch some incredible structures found recently. These are not just discoveries, they will leave you stunned. So don't miss any of them. Number 15. Sirkap. You'd think a city in Pakistan would look, well, local, but Sirkap is a total head trip. Founded by a Greek king named Demetrius around the 2nd century BCE, this place is like a Hellenistic fever dream dropped right onto the Silk Road. Honestly, and walking through the ruins, if you ever get the chance to visit this UNESCO spot, feels like a glitch in the Matrix. You've got these classic Corinthian capitals and Greek-style columned halls sitting right next to Indian stupas and local motifs. It's the ultimate ancient mashup. Archaeologists digging around Tilla have pulled up a mountain of coins and pottery that prove this wasn't just some outpost. It was a high-tech trade hub with a water supply system that would have made other ancient cities jealous. It's wild to see how Greek and Indian cultures didn't just meet. They practically moved in together and started a whole new vibe. Number 14. 40-ton doorway to nowhere. Germany has its own version of Stonehenge vibes with the Great Dolmen of Dewa, and it is a masterpiece of Neolithic heavy lifting. This tomb was built somewhere between 3,500 and 2,800 BCE, using 4 massive upright stones topped with a capstone that weighs a staggering 40 tons. Think about that. No cranes, no trucks, just pure human grit, and probably a lot of ropes. It was designed as a final resting place, a grand chamber for the dead on Rugen Island. But here is the absolute Twilight Zone ending. Despite being a massive, impressive tomb built for the ages, archaeologists haven't found a single human bone inside. It's a perfectly constructed 40-ton monument to absolutely nobody. It's like the ancient world's most expensive empty apartment, and we have zero clue why they left it vacant. Number 13. Metro station building. A subway is usually a headache, but in Thessaloniki back in 2019, it had turned into a full-blown archaeological crisis. Workers digging the new metro network stumbled upon over 300,000 artifacts just sitting beneath the streets. I'm talking about gorgeous statues of the goddess Aphrodite, gold wreaths, and enough pottery to fill a stadium. They even found the Decumanus Maximus, which was basically the 6th century version of Main Street, made of massive stones. The project had to screech to a halt because, surprise, they found what might be the city's first ever Christian church, too. It turns out Thessaloniki was a massive powerhouse of trade and religion for over a millennium before it faded in the medieval era. It's kind of funny. People were just trying to catch a train, and instead, they dug up a literal empire. Number 12. Lion. That survived a modern war standing guard at nearly 12 feet tall and weighing over 15 tons, the Lion of Al-lat is a limestone beast you really wouldn't want to mess with. Created in the 1st century for a temple in Palmyra, Syria, this thing isn't just a statue. It's a protector of the pre-Islamic goddess Al-lat. The lion is shown holding a gazelle between its paws, which sounds aggressive, but it actually represents the goddess's vow of non-violence in her sanctuary. This masterpiece was nearly lost forever in 2015 when ISIS tried to blow it to pieces. Thankfully, experts in Damascus spent years painstakingly gluing the fragments back together in 2017. It's a miracle of restoration that bridges the gap between ancient Arabic spiritualism and modern-day grit, standing as a symbol of cultural survival against all odds. Number 11. The chieftain who loved his mead. Check this out. Back in 530 BCE, a Celtic boss near Hochdorf, Germany, was buried with the ultimate party kit. We're talking about a man who was laid to rest on a bronze couch with wheels. literally a 50-year-old chieftain taking his living room to the afterlife. When archaeologists cracked the mound open in the late 70s, they found him decked out in gold-plated shoes and a birch bark hat. But the real star of the show was a massive cauldron imported from Greece that held, get this, 105 gallons of mead. That is a lot of honey wine. The mound had eroded from 19 feet down to a tiny 4-foot bump over the centuries, nearly hiding the fact that this guy was buried with enough gold and booze to fund a small army. It's the most human look at Celtic high society we've ever found. Number 10. A Pharaoh's 143-foot ghost vessel. Can you imagine finding a massive 4,600-year-old ship buried right next to the Great Pyramid? In 1954, archaeologists unsealed a pit and found the Khufu ship, a solar barge so perfectly preserved it could practically sail today if you dropped it in the Nile. It was found in 1,224 pieces, like the world's most stressful jigsaw puzzle, and took years to rebuild. The wild part? It doesn't have any rigging or space for oars because it wasn't built for water. It was a spirit ship meant to carry King Khufu through the sky in the afterlife. Measuring 143 feet long, it's a terrifyingly huge piece of engineering that proves the Egyptians weren't just masters of stone, but also absolute geniuses at woodwork. It's currently sitting in a museum at Giza. They're looking like it's just waiting for a god to come pick up the keys. Number 9. Goddess with the owl feet. There's a terracotta plaque called the Burney Relief that has been causing a massive stir in the art world since 1935. It shows a stunning nude goddess with wings and, here's the kicker, taloned owl feet standing on the backs of 2 lions. Because it popped up in a private collection without a birth certificate, people spent decades arguing whether it was a fake. Now, most experts agree it's a 3,900-year-old Babylonian masterpiece. The real drama is figuring out if she's Ishtar, the goddess of love and war, or Ereshkigal, the literal queen of the underworld. She's often called the Queen of the Night, and honestly, she looks like she knows exactly how the world ends. Whether she represents passion or death, she's one of the most powerful and enigmatic carvings ever to survive the sands of Mesopotamia. Number 8. The new Baalbek giant. Imagine you're a crane operator today. You're basically the king of the construction site, right? Well, Lebanon has a 1,650-ton reality check waiting for you in an ancient quarry. Back in 2014, archaeologists dug a bit deeper and found this forgotten block that makes everything we've built look like Lego bricks. This massive monolith in Baalbek mocks our modern tech because even our monster cranes, like the Liebherr LR 13,000, usually top out at a 1,200-ton capacity. Now, try to wrap your head around moving 1,650 tons across uneven rocky ground without a single hydraulic piston or an engine. It's a logistical nightmare that would keep a modern engineer up at night. But yet someone thousands of years ago had a clear plan to move it into a temple foundation. It is not just a rock. It is a massive how-to guide for a technology we haven't even begun to rediscover yet. Number 7. Karahan Tepe. You've probably heard that hunter-gatherers were just wandering around looking for berries, but Turkey's latest bombshell, Karahan Tepe, proves we were dead wrong. Heavily excavated between 2019 and 2024, this site is a staggering 6,000 years older than the Great Pyramids. We're talking about people who supposedly didn't have specialized labor or even the wheel, yet they carved 250 massive T-shaped pillars directly into the solid bedrock with impossible precision. It's like finding a smartphone in a caveman's hand. There are human-like faces and intricate carvings that suggest a level of organization and engineering math that shouldn't have existed 11,000 years ago. Every time a shovel hits the dirt here, history books have to be rewritten because these primitive people were actually master architects long before they ever started farming. It's a total glitch in the timeline of human history that leaves researchers stunned at every turn. Number 6. The Dolmen of Menga. So Spain has this Neolithic tomb that looks like a simple pile of rocks from the outside, but a 2024 study just pulled back the curtain on a secret genius. It turns out the builders of the Dolmen of Menga weren't just strong, they were literal scientists 6,000 years ago. And they used complex weight distribution tricks, including what might be the world's first stress relief arch, to keep the whole 150-ton capstone from collapsing. They even understood friction reduction techniques that we honestly thought were way above their pay grade. Engineers today are looking at the way these massive stones are tilted and locked, realizing these people were calculating angles and geological stress before science was even a word. It's a total masterclass in early science. They managed to manipulate heavy stone with a level of foresight that we are only just beginning to appreciate through modern scanning and structural analysis. Number 5. Nan Madol. Let's take a trip to Micronesia, where there's a city that shouldn't exist. Nan Madol is built on 92 artificial islands, all constructed out of thousands of basalt columns that look like giant black logs. Here's the kicker. Each of those columns weighs several tons, and they were moved across jagged coral reefs. We haven't found a single trace of pulleys, wheels, or even a decent road. Local legends say the stones flew into place, and honestly, looking at the sheer weight of the basalt, that sounds about as logical as anything else we've come up with. It's a floating stone fortress in the middle of the ocean, and modern engineers are still scratching their heads, wondering how to transport an entire city's worth of heavy rock over water without a modern barge. Number 4. Interlocking walls of Sacsayhuaman. If you go to Peru and look at the walls of Sacsayhuaman, you'll see stones weighing up to 125 tons that fit together like a 3D jigsaw puzzle. This isn't just good masonry, it's I can't even slip a razor blade between them masonry. Modern engineers have looked at this and basically said, no thanks. To replicate this today without lasers, you would have to lift and lower those 100-ton blocks hundreds of times, sanding them down bit by bit until they matched the irregular shape of the stone next to them. Can you imagine the sheer manpower and patience that would take? No mortar, no cement, just raw stone-on-stone contact so perfect it has survived massive earthquakes that leveled modern buildings nearby. It's a terrifyingly precise feat of engineering that makes our modern, straight-line architecture look kind of lazy. Number 3. A sarcophagus that tells a bloody tale. Turkey is basically an open-air museum, but the Pyxina sarcophagus, found in 1994, is on a whole different level of unsettling. This 2,600-year-old stone coffin is the oldest engraved one ever found in Asia Minor, and the carvings on the side are straight-up tragic. It depicts the sacrifice of Pyxina, a Trojan princess, on the tomb of the Greek hero Achilles. It's a brutal, specific scene from mythology involving revenge and murder, which makes you wonder, who on earth was buried inside this thing to want that image on their eternal bed? We still don't know their name, but the Persian-era craftsmanship is so sharp you can almost feel the tension in the stone. It's a dark, beautiful reminder that ancient funerals were sometimes less about peace and more about settling old mythological scores. Number 2. Barabar Caves. If you want to see where ancient engineering meets pure, mind-bending perfection, you have to look at the Barabar Caves in India. These aren't just holes in a hill. We are talking about massive chambers carved directly into solid, stubborn granite over 2,300 years ago during the Maurya Empire. Now, here is where it gets weird for a modern engineer. The interior walls are polished to a literal mirror finish. I'm serious. You can see your reflection in the stone. Even today, achieving that kind of geometric precision inside a dark, cramped cave using only hand tools is something modern stonemasons say would take decades of painstaking labor. There's no room for error. One wrong strike and the acoustics of the room, which are tuned perfectly like a musical instrument, would be ruined. It's a subterranean masterpiece that defies the logic of primitive tools, at leaving experts wondering how they maintained such perfect straight lines and glass-like surfaces in an era before electricity or laser levels. Number 1. The unfinished obelisk. Okay, let's talk about the ultimate what-if of the ancient world, sitting right in the quarries of Aswan, Egypt. This is the unfinished obelisk, and it is a 1,200-ton single piece of solid granite that was intended to be the tallest stone structure ever erected. To put that in perspective, that's like trying to lift 2.5 Boeing 747s in one go. The sheer scale of this project is a feat of engineering math that just feels illegal. Archaeologists have found these small dolerite balls, which were used to basically pound the granite into shape, but the math doesn't add up for a modern mind. How do you calculate the stress points of a 137-foot-long piece of stone while it's still attached to the bedrock? The patience required to remove hundreds of tons of rock just by hand pounding is staggering, and the fact that they almost pulled it off before a crack appeared is a testament to a level of ambition that modern construction companies wouldn't even dare to bid on. It's a 4,000-year-old lesson in go big or go home, and it stands as a massive, abandoned monument to a level of grit we can barely imagine today. We like to believe we're at the absolute peak of human achievement, but standing in the shadow of a 1,600-ton block of stone tends to humble you pretty quickly. These sites prove that history isn't a straight line from dumb to smart. Instead, it's a map of forgotten geniuses who mastered the earth in ways we can't even simulate with our best software. We're essentially looking at a prehistoric high-tech world that was lost to time. It's a massive puzzle with half the pieces missing, and every new discovery just makes the picture more mysterious than before. If this trip through the ancient world gave you chills, then stick around for more. We're digging up the truth every single week, so make sure you're subscribed and have that notification bell on. Seriously, tell me in the comments, how do you think they moved those stones? Let's talk.